I immediately know that's her voice. Yep, that's Lady Gaga. And I know that. Hi everyone, Christina here. And today I wanted to continue to talk about why branding is a great asset to our therapists. So in the previous video, we talked about trust and connections and how important they are in terms of building the know you, like you, trust you factor. And today we're going to talk about, the third part about this. And the third part basically talking about recognition and how branding can help you feel recognized and be noticed and memorable. Let's go. So we're talking about recognition. You'll notice, through all the put together brands, because this is what we were talking about in the previous video. We were talking about feeling put together. And I'll link that in the playlist above here in terms of going back to a previous video. But feeling put together really helps you be memorable and stand out. And being memorable meaning that, if they see your logo somewhere, they will immediately remember you. And if you continue to be consistent with all of your pictures, marketing materials, colors, maybe your clothes, they're going to remember you for it, right? They're going to say, oh, wow, like that is, so-and-so. I remember them, being on YouTube or being on Instagram. So there's recognition there. And even if they hear your voice, that's immediate recognition. Like if you're very consistent with your voice and how you sound, and many artists, I remember just from the top of my head, when I hear them on the radio, for example, like say if I hear Lady Gaga, I immediately know that's her voice. Yep, that's Lady Gaga. And I know that for a fact because her voice is so distinct and she's very consistent with her songs and how she sounds. And that's kind of what you need to do as well as a brand. You are really tapping into how you sound and how you really want to feel when you're in your brand, and how you want others to perceive you in terms of how you sound, how you look. That stimulates, a memory inside your mind or the client's mind to associate you with maybe the color blue, or associate you with this really soft tone of voice. That's why, you want to be recognized for something. When you're able to look very put together and be repetitive with all of, the materials that you have within your brand, your logo, your colors, your fonts, maybe your messaging, anything like that. If it shows up, I don't know, in a newspaper or something, your logo shows up. And it's just the icon of the logo, not even the name or what it is. It's just the icon. If someone's able to guess that without having the name on it, that means that you did a good job with your brand awareness. And when you're able to think that way, then people are going to be able to put you first before anyone else. So, say if you're, an art therapist and you're, on Instagram with many other art therapists, and, I'm looking for, somebody, so let's just say I'm the client and I'm looking for an art therapist because I feel nervous. Like maybe I have a driving test or something. I have a driving test coming up and I'm super nervous and anxiety about it. I'm having trouble sleeping, trying to calm down. So I'm looking for an art therapist. And, I follow, many art therapists, but the person that keeps coming to my headspace, is a thirsty for art. They always have been coming to my headspace because I constantly keep seeing, their videos, their posts, because they're consistent and I remember them. And that's what you need to do to be recognized. You want to continually show up in the same format that you always do. Don't change anything, because that might like shift how they remember you, how your people remember you. And another great thing about having this recognition as a brand is you're able to separate yourself from competitors. And when you're able to do that, you're able to differentiate, who is who in the market. And maybe it's not really about standing out, but maybe you stand for something different than this art therapist. So you want to have, something that you embody the most in your brand. So maybe you embody more of creativity than maybe this art therapist. Maybe this art therapist embodies more of self-growth and self-care. So there's two different things, right? Different values, different beliefs. So this is why you want to be recognized for the most authentic things that you care about the most. And when you're able to do that, it separates you, right? Your people aren't merging, two art therapists together. Everyone's very distinct. Everyone has, something they stand for. And then the client can stand there and choose, okay, do I value more of my self-development, or do I value creativity? Because each of them will do their work differently. So now it's up to the client to make that decision, because both of them stand out in completely different ways. I do want to highlight though that, all of this takes time, effort, and money, unless you are going to do this as a DIY, which is completely fine too when you're just starting out. But you do want to invest a lot of time and money into building a really distinct brand that has good recognition. And why I mean that is, like I said back from the previous video, you want to continue to build trust and emotional connection. How do you do that? You have to make sure you look put together. And when you're able to look put together, then that helps to really bring up your memorability, being remembered and being the first person that, the client thinks of on their mind to when they need help. Like I said, branding helps you to be noticed and heard. If you don't have a brand and you just have a Psychology Today profile, I don't think that would help you stand out enough. You do need to have like a separate website really dedicated to you. The Psychology Today might help to boost maybe more reach to people, but you kind of blend in with the list. You know what I mean? Everyone has the same profile. Everyone has maybe like the same headshot, or maybe you do something experimental with your headshot to help you be more recognized and memorable. But having your own, brand and website and look and feel, messaging and everything really helps to set you apart, makes you feel heard, and you'll be noticed much more. So that's pretty much it for what today was about. So just to summarize it real quick. So branding helps to build that recognition, build that memorability, and be the first art therapist on someone's mind. And that's what you want to do every single time. You want them to know, oh yeah, I can immediately go and see, Christina, because, I remember, this content that they posted the other day, and maybe they'll help me much more in this problem. And the next part is, you want to feel heard, you want to feel seen, and this helps you separate yourself from the competition. So, you're on that Psychology Today page, you feel like you're pretty much a duplicate of somebody else. We don't want that. So having, the time and effort to put into building your brand is key. So invest time on your brand. If you don't have enough money set aside to hire a professional for this. DIY it, it's completely fine. Just spend time and effort making sure your images are consistent, your logo's consistent, your messaging is consistent. When everything is consistent, you will be known for what you have built. And that's key here. Being known for something that you love and stand for. And again, that sets you apart as a completely different therapist compared to this therapist. So you guys compete for completely different things. And then in the end, the client can decide, you know, I'm going to go with this art therapist because they value this, or I'm going to go with this therapist because they value this much more than, you know, this one. And I feel that I'm swayed in this direction. So those are basically summaries of what I feel branding can really do for art therapists. So I hope that that was helpful today, and stay tuned to next week. It's going to be the last video in this section of why branding is a great asset to art therapists. So thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful day. Keep smiling. Bye.